Welcome. This is D.L. Hughes from VelocityWriting.com, where you learn to write with speed, passion, purpose, and profitability. What if AI didn't stand for artificial intelligence? What if it stood for artificial insemination instead? Actually, cattle breeders call artificial insemination AI, but what I'm talking about is using generative AI to inseminate your brain with ideas. Writers, we've got to talk about generative AI and why hating it might be the moral equivalent of burning down a library. No one should want to burn a single book, much less an entire library. Are there more constructive ways for writers to think about generative AI? Well, we're going to think about that right now. Please like, share, and subscribe if you gain insight from this video, and leave a comment. I respond to almost all of them. Why some writers resist generative AI. Many writers feel uneasy about generative AI. They think it cheats the creative process, or they think it's a plagiarism machine. Are those things true? Well, as we'll see coming up, it doesn't store the content of books. It just researches what's in them. That's what the training is. It outputs unique results based on the prompt a person uses. A similar prompt by different people will yield different output. AI is not a thief. It's a brilliant librarian, research assistant, and brainstorming buddy all rolled into one. It's time for writers to rethink the tool and unlock its creative potential. Resistance to new tools is a tale as old as technology, and fighting it often means missing out. Early writers put brushstrokes on papyrus scrolls. When printing press technology emerged, I'm sure many people said, "Oh my goodness, it's terrible to have to turn pages. It was so much easier to just unroll a scroll. And papyrus smells better than ink on pulp." Those monks who hand-copied sacred books must have gone off the deep end. We're going to lose our jobs. It's likely the same thing happened when the fountain pen replaced the quill pen. There were probably writers screaming, "I want my feathers. I can't be creative without my feathers." Even ebooks faced backlash. Remember when people condemned them? Yet here we are, happily reading books in both digital and print editions without the universe collapsing. Misunderstandings about generative AI. These analogies only go so far. AI isn't about hardware. It's about information access. Library science, in fact. Libraries house knowledge. Generative AI is a living, searchable version of that. Large language models, LLMs, are the digital age's grand libraries. I don't know about you, but I spent a lot of my life doing research in libraries. I used to descend to the third subfloor of Firestone Library at Princeton with a smuggled ham sandwich and was not seen for about 18 hours. Then it was all about card catalogs, retrieving books, making notes from them, and then writing, including those pesky but necessary footnotes and bibliographic entries. Generative AI excels at discovering and organizing complex data, summarizing ideas, and drafting coherent thoughts. Like a library, it gives back what you ask for. Like a librarian, it assists, but it does not dictate. But those who cut and paste AI output without thought, they're missing the point. They're abusing the tool, and they get no respect from me. AI should be a collaborator. Used ethically, it inseminates our minds with possibilities. A new way to think about generative AI. Writers should view AI as a dynamic librarian, not as just a databank, but a helper that understands our needs and responds creatively. Think of it as a genius librarian who crafts custom research notes, outlines, or first drafts of content tailored just for you. It does not steal the writings of others, as we'll soon see. It merely brings information together in one place, like on the shelves of a library. So we need to love generative AI like we love our resource librarians. I have known some great librarians over the years who have steered me in the right direction in my research. I love them. Does AI steal the work of others? Much of the resistance to AI comes from misunderstandings about how it works and what it can do. Some mistakenly believe AI steals content. Some writers even have lawsuits against generative AI companies for using their work without permission or payment. Was that the right move for them? Well, I think not. These authors might as well sue the dictionary publishers because all the words they used are in that database of words. How AI works. Generative AI, like ChatGPT, is trained on massive data sets that include publicly available text such as books, articles, and websites. During training, it learns patterns, language structures, and concepts, not specific phrases or exact copies of the data. Yes, it trains on real data, but that's how we all got our training, isn't it? We're all busy collecting data in libraries, online, books, or in other media, and in our interaction with others. When generating content, AI uses what it has learned to create new, original responses by combining and synthesizing ideas rather than retrieving or copying exact text. Think of AI as a writer who's read millions of books and uses that knowledge to draft content which you refine. It's not stealing, it's collaborating. AI isn't replacing creativity, it's amplifying it. It's like having a brainstorming partner who never gets tired and doesn't mind when you reject 99% of its ideas. The legal scene. Is there a legal or moral issue? Probably not. Precedence has likely already been settled in court. The Authors Guild, along with the Association of American Publishers, sued Google back in 2005. They charged them with copyright infringement for scanning books and offering snippets of them in search results. After a decade in court, what was the second U.S. federal court verdict? This was back in October of 2015. Google's unauthorized digitizing of copyright-protected works, creation of a search functionality, and display of snippets from those works are non-infringing fair uses. The purpose of the copying is highly transformative, and the public display of text is limited, and the revelations do not provide a significant market substitute for the protected aspects of the originals. So the collection of the content and transforming it is completely legal. On appeal, the U.S. Supreme Court let this decision stand. Generative AI collects the data, but does not display it like Google was doing. It transforms it even more. It's likely going to take a decade or more for these new AI cases to weave through the courts, but the conclusion will doubtless be the same. It is not against the law, and it is not unethical to collect data and output it in new and transformative ways. How writers can embrace AI as a creative partner. Rather than resisting generative AI, writers should focus on how they can use it to inseminate their brains with fresh ideas. Learn to plant the seeds that generative AI offers and cultivate them into something unique and extraordinary. AI is a powerhouse for generating ideas from character names to plot twists, but the magic is in how you use it. Start by asking ChatGPT some open-ended questions. For instance, what's a unique conflict for a story about time travel? Give me 10 suggestions. Well, the answers might be weird, wonderful, or downright unusable. But they'll inseminate your brain with ideas that will push your thinking in new directions. You can also use AI to explore what-if scenarios. AI can quickly spit out dozens of variations on a theme, giving you a buffet of options to choose from. Think about it. Type, what if Romeo and Juliet lived in a dystopian society? Suddenly, AI gives you the seed for a sci-fi tragedy. Treat AI as your brainstorming buddy, not your ghostwriter. Its role isn't to finish the book for you, but to help you see the possibilities you didn't consider. Expand research and insights. AI is a treasure trove for gathering information and perspectives, especially when exploring unfamiliar topics. Ask AI to summarize complex subjects. If your novel involves quantum physics, AI can break it down into chunks readers can digest. For example, inputting explain wormholes to a 12-year-old might lead to an idea for a sci-fi subplot. Use AI to analyze trends in your genre. It can identify common tropes, themes, or audience preferences, helping you position your book effectively. Treat AI as a spark for your research, but always verify facts. AI isn't perfect, we know that, but it's a great way to kickstart your process. AI can also help you hone your writing voice by offering drafts that you refine, much like a sculptor chisels away at a block of marble. Generate a rough draft of an idea and then rewrite it in your unique style. AI provides structure, but you provide the soul. You can use AI to test multiple phrasings for tricky sentences. Think of it as offering an endless supply of alternative takes. This is better than asking your mom what version she likes best. Inseminate your imagination. Writers, it's time to stop seeing AI as the enemy and start treating it as a tool to inseminate your imagination with fresh possibilities. Here's how to get started. Use AI to explore topics and to research ideas. AI can offer you insights that don't normally come to mind. Then get more specific. Experiment with AI for brainstorming. Use it to generate ideas for plots, characters, or settings, and see where it takes you. Collaborate with AI on your first draft, but always rewrite it extensively to infuse your unique voice and perspective. AI isn't here to steal from writers or replace them. It's here to inspire them. Don't fear the tool. Embrace the creativity it unlocks. Have a great writing day.